Hi, I'm Tim Morris. I'm here with my colleague Jarvis DeBerry with the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com, and this edition of Common Ground, we're going to be talking about the NFL protest, the kneeling at the National Anthem. This has been going on for about a year, but this week President Trump came out and said some things that kind of escalated, so now everybody's talking about it. So Jarvis, I was interested in getting your take on where we are right now and where do you think things are headed?
Yeah, well, obviously it started with Colin Kaepernick, who was with the 49ers last year, and he didn't make a big to-do about not standing for the anthem, but a reporter asked him why, and he said he was finding it difficult to salute the flag of a country where black people could be killed by the police and nothing happened to them. He has since obviously been without a job, this season at least, and Trump threw a match into that powder keg last week with some very profane and inflammatory language, criticizing players who might do such a thing, which only intensified the number of players doing that. So it's really interesting right now, you know, the question I think you asked in the column, are they protesting for the same reasons that Kaepernick did, or are they just showing Trump that you don't control us? I think it's a little bit of both, actually.
Right, and I think moving forward we have lots of issues that will be weighted by what they do. But here's what I want to ask you, and to me, and I know you said in the column that Colin Kaepernick's choice for you was very clear as why he was doing it. For me, I found it more ambiguous. The idea being that he talked about how this was a time in which there were young black men being killed by police officers, unarmed men being killed, lots of questions. So he decided to kneel during the national anthem. And that's where I had the problem, I guess, is that what was he asking me to do? And what was the response? Because you look back, obviously Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott, sitting at the counters at Woolworths, the Freedom Riders, even Muhammad Ali's decision not to go to Vietnam. I saw the connection.
Yeah.
But I don't see when he says, I can't stand for a flag that does this. I guess I have a hard time understanding why he chose that way to do it.
Well, I think, you know, and I can't speak for him, but I think, you know, when you're in those moments, when you're thinking about the flag, when you're thinking about the national anthem and all these big displays of patriotism, we are being asked to consider the promises that we have as our rights as Americans, that this is what being American means. It means being free, it means having liberty. And I'm guessing the cognitive dissonance was just a little too great for him at that moment. Like, you're expecting me to be reverent of this flag, and I'm really struggling with my sense of place in this country. And I think it is a wonderful thing, I think, to be able to reverence the flag without any hesitation and without any type of conflict. And I think, though, that black people in general have always had this idea, are we fully American or aren't we? And I think that's what he was dealing with in those moments.
Well, and I understand, and that's what kind of brings another tension, is that, okay, I'm a teammate of Colin Kaepernick, and I agree with him that something needs to be done, that people being shot, unarmed people, black, white, or whatever, there's something needs to be done. And yet, I can't make myself kneel at that moment because my life, my culture has been, I respect that. That's what the flag is about. So by not kneeling, am I suggesting that I'm a white supremacist, that I disagree with him? By kneeling, what am I saying? It creates a real problem.
It does. It is a really interesting time where things that might otherwise be considered innocuous in any other context may be considered to be offensive in a certain context. I mean, it's similar to the All Lives Matter, people saying all lives matter. Now, if you had said that 15, 20 years ago, people would have shrugged. But now that if you say it, you are suggesting that you have some opposition to Black Lives Matter in particular. And so, yeah, there is the risk that now people will see people saluting the flag as being opposed to black people's lives, which I don't think is fair. You know, I think it is perfectly fine and perfectly reasonable for people to honor the American flag, but at the same time, I think it's perfectly reasonable and honorable for somebody to say, you know what, I'm so frustrated with my country right now. I wish my country were better than it is, that at this moment that I can't salute it with the reverence that other people are.
Right. So this kind of raises two more things for me, and one is So you go to an athletic event, you go to a concert, or you go to something like that, and you're going there maybe to get away from things. And so let's say you go to a concert, let's say it's a Kid Rock concert, and you
I wouldn't be there, but
no. I wouldn't see you there. I'm not sure I see me there. But so you see Confederate flags, or they make statements, and you're kind of like, that's not what I came here for.
Yeah. And
yet I'm paying in the athletic events and concerts, paying a huge amount of money to do this.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about fans who say, look, you know, I'm paying my $100 plus for a Saints ticket. I don't agree with what they're doing, and I don't appreciate the fact that they're doing it, so I'm going to stay away, or at least I want to say, stop this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the message being communicated from the people who are protesting, especially the black athletes, is we can never get away from this. I mean, you think about Michael Bennett, who says he was accosted by Las Vegas police after the Mayweather-McGregor fight and had a gun put to his head, and you know, an officer threatening to kill him. So I think part of the argument is, you know, it's good for those people who say they want to escape and they have a little bit of escapism by coming to an NFL game, but that there's people who say that forever, you know, we are having to deal with this particular issue and we're going to make you confront it. I understand that people want to see the NFL as a mere entertainment and escapism, and I think, though, that these protests are deliberately confrontational to put these issues in front of people who may otherwise avoid them.
But you run the risk of alienating people, and eventually, so this is where the NFL is in a big bind, because their fan base is almost 80% white. Their employees, the players, are 70% black, and so they're kind of in this spot here, and they're going to say too, well, we're not want to be political, so we're going to link arms this weekend to show, you know, unity.
So
I know, but is that what Kaepernick wanted, and where do we go from there?
I don't know, honestly. The NFL is in a real bind. They probably wouldn't be in this bind if some owner had signed Kaepernick already. I mean, clearly he's better than many of the people who are on rosters.
I don't disagree with that.
At this moment, so we probably wouldn't be here, but for that. But yeah, it's a difficult moment, and I can't profess that I have all the answers. My biggest issue with Colin Kaepernick's protest is this issue of police brutality is going to be for a long, long time. So I can't imagine a solution like a Montgomery bus boycott solution or withdrawing from Vietnam or anything like that. But I think we'll be discussing this for a lot longer than
we don't have solutions. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well, we thank you for joining us today, and keep watching us on NOLA.com. Look for Common Ground every week. Thank you.